Good morning. Welcome to another brand new edition of Micat Hour. Micat Hour is that program that highlights all of the different activities of the government that happen during the course of the week. And boy, oh boy, this week has been quite busy. The president on Wednesday, that was day before yesterday, delivered a powerful address at the UN General Assembly, the 78th UN General Assembly, where he told the world body about the level of transformation taking place in Liberia. We're going to attempt to talk about that during the course of this conversation. We know that, it's the president's sixth delivery, and each time he seems to be more confident and poised and presidential and all of that. We're going to be talking about the body language, but also the substance of the discussion. So that's going to be happening today on the platform. We're also going to be talking about the president's, preparation for the president's triumphant return to the country. So the president left the country in the middle of campaign. A lot of people were wondering, why is the president leaving? But obviously, you know that he is president of Liberia, why he remains tender bearer of the CDC. And so he has to perform his presidential duties and all of that. And so he left for the 78th UN General Assembly, where he met with a host of other leaders on the sidelines of that event before and after delivering the powerful address we were talking about earlier. But then he's going to be coming home, and then thousands of Liberians are preparing to welcome His Excellency back home. There are a lot of preparations ongoing as we speak. Some of the folks are already beginning to print their different paraphernalia, basically saying welcome to His Excellency the President. We're going to say he's going to be coming in the country on tomorrow. So the Rapids International Airport will be thronged by thousands of Liberians who's going to go there to say thank you to His Excellency. The president, has woo a lot of different support from people as woo support from people from all across the political spectrum, across the and so we expect no less on tomorrow that's going to happen. We also going to be talking about a number of different things. For instance, there are a series of rallies happening right now in Lofa County, which has been regarded, by the way, as the political stronghold of one of Liberia's major opposition party. But it seems as if the pendulum is beginning to shift, if you will, because the crowd are beginning to come out, and Lofa County is noted for not voting against the status quo, the incumbent, regardless of who the opposition candidate or what level of cultural affinity they share with him. So some of the pundits are beginning to point out that this election is going to be no different as far as Lofa County is concerned, and that's why it is interesting that we're beginning to see a lot of different big rallies being held in Lofa County. We will also talk about the drug bust. There was a major drug bust at the Rabat International Airport, and some of the folks, because it is political season, thought to pin it on higher ups in government. We will tell you about the latest information and how all of those things you've been hearing were propaganda, political propaganda, or maybe I should call it for what it is, lies. They were lies, and that the actual information is available now, and that some arrests have been made and all of that. So we're going to be talking more about that. We're also going to be talking about the fact that have you heard about Richard Lucas? Richard Lucas, the guy who attempted the American guy who attempted to slaughter a Liberian girl. This guy was arrested in the act and has appeared in court for the first time. We're going to be talking more about that story. Plus, there's been some threats to our peace. So those are the things we're going to be talking about. And as always on this platform, we talk about the different things making the headlines. We gave some analysis about the political situation in the country. So those are the things we're going to be doing. There was this leak audio that purported to have come from Darius DeLeon speaking, denigratingly of his former political leader, Charles Walker Bramskin. Initially, we were talking about how the clip was purported to have come from him. So we're a little bit cautious about stating that it was directly from him. But he's confirmed. We're going to be playing the voice of his, that confirmation he made on one of the networks. and all of that. So a lot of things to talk about this morning. My name is Boaka M. Fofana. I am the Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism for Technical Services. I'm always on this platform along with Kwame Lopawix, who's joined me now. Kwame is the Director General of the Liberian News Agency. Kwame, good morning.
Good morning, and as I plan to
let me give you a chance to
grab my voice, but what a beautiful Friday, especially coming out of that. You saw that home run by the president. So I know we're going to be talking all about.
You mean at the UN?
At the UN.
Oh yeah, that was quite a powerful speech that he delivered there.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that during the course of this program. We're also going to be joined by, one of Liberia's permanent diaspora media personalities during the course of our conversation. This morning he runs the GIDE Hard Talk. So you're going to sit with us. And we're just going to chit-chat a bit. I'm talking about why Michael Gilman. Mr. Gilman is going to be here shortly. You're listening to Micat. Welcome back to Micat. Well, like we said, we're going to be talking about a lot of things this morning. So it promises to be a very, 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 very interesting edition. You can't afford to miss today's edition of the show because it's going to be normally on this platform. One of the unique features of the platform is the fact that we offer different analysis from different perspectives. There are different people with varying opinions about political affairs, current affairs happening in the country. So you can be sure that you're going to get it from different perspectives. And where we're going to begin this morning is the most topical subject. The president's delivery at the UN General Assembly. So this was the 78th edition of the UN General Assembly. Liberia is a founding member of that body, and the president had delivered 5 UN speeches already. This was his 6th address to that war body. And on each occasion, some of the pundits, are beginning to say that the president seemed to grow in size, basically referring to the level of confidence he exuded, the poise he exhibited, how he was making eye contact. It was the just the sheer level of confidence, the articulation, but let's listen in a bit.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome His Excellency George Manawaya, President of the Republic of Liberia, and invite him to address the Assembly. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency Denis Francois, President of the 78th United Nations General Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Ambassadors, Heads of Delegation, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by extending sympathy to all nations experiencing loss of lives due to recent natural disaster. May the souls of all the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. I'm honored to address the 78th sessions of the United Nations General Assembly on behalf of the government and people of the Republic of Liberia. I congratulate His Excellency Mr. Dennis Francis on his elections as President of the 78th sessions of the United Nations General Assembly, trusting that he will bring his wealth of experience to bear on the works of this august assembly. I wish to assure him of my delegation's further support as he steers the works of this assembly successfully in fulfillment of the expectation and confident repose in him.
Okay, we could go on and listen to that clip, but I just wanted you to get a little bit a buzz of that and reflect on what you already have heard, because this has been in the news. So we're not going to belabor the audio and all of that. But so this was the sixth address by His Excellency. A couple of things that I did notice, and I'm going to turn over to Kwame very shortly. Is firstly, we can talk about the substance of the conversation. The president was talking about the team, promoting global solidarity and, reactivating works as far as the agenda 2030 is concerned, and also reactivating conversation about the SDGs and what have you. But then he also brought it back home to talk about the consolidation of Liberia's democracy, and Liberia are going to go to elections very soon. He promised a peaceful, credible, inclusive electioneering process, that they've taken all of the different steps to ensure that the institutions responsible, and all of those different talks, the president talked about those. But I just like to reflect on the fact that this was a conversation in 2018 when the president was going to the UN General Assembly, and I think it was part of the campaign trail. And I think we should talk about that. Folks were talking about, what is he going to say? Because the president himself alluded to his inaugural address. I can promise you the most flowery of speeches, but I can promise you practical measures. And we've seen those level of practical measures, the roads, the housing units, the hospitals, and all of the different stuff. But even in those areas that he was trying to temper hopes and expectation about, it seemed as if he's beginning to grow in size. He was articulate, he was confident, he was poised, the way he was interacting with the audience and all of that. People just beginning to think, this man, he's becoming a great speaker now, Kwame.
Yeah. And one of my favorite part was when the president was invoking communal efforts, to confront global challenges. Mm-hmm. And one of those, you see what's happening in Morocco. He started off by also, talking about those who lost, lives, by sympathizing with them.
Yeah.
You have the situation with Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and the Sahel.
Yeah.
That crisis is going on. You got the Libya mini tsunami, and all of these different things. But one of the major things that a line that I took from the president, let me quote him verbatim. He said, "We are proud of our achievements in reducing maternal mortality." The number 1070 was put around by the UNFPA, but now that number has been reduced significantly. I know it is way down around 7. Some even put it at 600. That's huge. Increasing gender parity in school enrollment and elevating our overall health and well-being. Now, talk about gender parity. Now, there's this program. It's more like a safety net program. I think it was launched by the IRIS group, by Ministry of Education, where women are encouraged. They send them mobile money, and I knew that happened in the Southeast, and
yeah, we will know where that song is coming from.
Right. And women, young women, started getting encouraged by that, because one of the major things they were complaining about, by the time they had to do these home chores, cook, clean up, and all of that stuff, how these roles are assigned to them, or society ascribed to them.
Yeah.
They barely come to school. If they come, they have to struggle, even if they're single moms and all of that. So they were telling me the other time I was in Greenville at the Sino High School that the money that was sent to them by mobile money was ready, like a boost. And now before you will have maybe 3 girls in a class of 90 students and the rest 87 boys, but now it's almost 50-50, Barca.
Let's welcome Gilman. Gilman, good morning.
Good morning, Barca and Kwame. And let me say good morning to Liberians everywhere following this broadcast. It's great to be back.
Yeah. When did you get back?
I got back in the country on Tuesday.
Okay.
Left the States on Monday. Got back here Tuesday evening.
What was your impression, the general impression before we get to the president's speech?
Right. I mean, just from the airport.
And by the way, we should state that you've been back and forth. So it's like your first time in many years.
It's not my first time. So I can tell you.
Yeah.
I can tell you my experiences. The first time, second, third time.
Yeah, please.
From the airport to Monrovia, to my hotel where I'm staying. Great improvement.
Okay.
The first time at the airport, we were transported into the terminal on the bus. The shuttle bus came to the plane. We got on it and went into the terminal for immigration, customs, all of that. Returning, we were shuttled to the plane again. This time around, the plane came right to the jetway bridge, and we walked out of the plane. It was like I was disembarking a plane in New York, Detroit, ATL, or some other place. Yeah. So then the services, with
all of this was happening at the airport.
All of this happened at the airport.
At the Roberts International
Airport. Yeah.
So there's been improvement at the airport.
A lot of improvement. The immigration service, how to check people in, from where, and all of that, coupled with baggage handlers and how you claim your luggage. I had some of my folks, people who were on the flight with me, they were complaining, why can't we go to go get our own bags and you guys have to? But if you look at the conveyor, it's small. Okay? It's small. So to have about 300 persons that came on a flight to go to that little space,
it's going to be cluttered.
It's going to be cluttered up. It's going to be confrontational people.
Yeah.
So these handlers were able to get everybody bags brought to them, one at a time. I had 6 bags.
Wow.
Yeah. And everything. Absolutely. Everything.
When you're coming from the States, everybody say, oh, get where you going?
Yeah.
You can carry my small
You can carry small thing for me. You can do this. You can do that. Yeah. So, but everything went well. Driving from the airport to town, I saw the improvement, the road construction, power, city power, LEC is extending, driving through the streets.
You learn it at night, right?
I learn it at night.
Okay.
The city is being brightened up. Monrovia, even from the skies.
Wow.
As you view Monrovia at night, you would think it's someplace else. Because this place used to be very dark.
It used to be dark.
Very dark. Yeah, so hey. That tells me the question I always ask.
And you speak of something about the expansion of electricity. By the way, we're going to welcome, let's welcome Daniel Thomas. Daniel is Assistant Minister for Information Services at the Ministry of Information. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Gilman, it's nice to have you back.
No doubt, no doubt.
So, but Gilman brought up a subject matter. I just wanted to play something so that you're listening. Electricity has been expanding throughout the administration of President George M. Weah. Ever since he became president, we've had additional thousands of homes being connected to the main electricity grid. And just on yesterday, there was a community called, I'm trying to get to the specific community that was connected. And the folks there were just residents of Red Hill community in District 17. They said they celebrated the connection yesterday.
Let me talk to some of the direct beneficiaries. I see you dancing, man. What me? Yeah. I see you dancing. Yeah, no, she dancing. She yeah, so that's the children all celebrating. I see you dancing. You're so happy. Tell us how you feel. I feel good. Where are you, mama? Where are you? I see you just dancing. I'm so happy. I mean, what I say that. Yeah, they see you, then they see you. Yeah. But the one arm I get married. But I'm going to set on the just as it was. Is that what you're paying for one arm? $50 US? Yes. Every 2 weeks or every month? Every month US. In a deal on that.
So this is these are residents of the Red Hill Field community in Virginia, District 17.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, they're celebrating that they receive electricity. That the president visited our community, and one of the things that residents of District 17 were complaining about, they said it seemed as if the government has abandoned them. That's their thought. That was their thought at the time, and so they registered that complaint with the president during his visit, which, by the way, there were a lot of people there. The president will receive at the Douala market, and then thousands of people accompanied him to the field. I remember I was at that occasion. I was before his arrival, there were a lot of speculation on whether or not he's going to be received well, because the community are not receiving electricity and all of that. But in spite of that, the people turn out. And then he promised them, and because he's the talking to president, it seems he's beginning to deliver. So maybe it's just one community for now, but there's going to be an expansion eventually. So the residents of that community were so happy and talking about it. But let's hear what Nooks has to say about that.
The first thing is I want to say good morning to all of my colleagues here, and it's good being back, pushing the agenda for the president's re-election. The issue of electricity decentralization for me is not a new thing, especially under this administration. One of the greatest challenge we had as a government was the issue of transformers and the access to electricity at a point in time.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall, in 2020, the president had this special $1 million transformer project.
Okay.
That was being operated by the former Minister of State, Terry McGill. And also the electricity stimulus package that was provided. And that was the earliest beginning of what we're seeing today. But I've also spoken to people in places like Tinker's Village. Kids that were born never saw electricity. Today they have it. I spoke to my people in Bomi, where my farm is. There were children that were born in darkness, they have electricity today. So one of the things that I tend to see about President Weah is that his commitment to delivering has been something that is paramount. Okay, despite the challenges we've been confronted with as a government,
mm-hmm.
both globally and nationally, but the president's developmental plights are always the way he wants it to be. So when I listened to that, when I heard the jubilation coming from the people, I was like, oh wow, this is another plus for the president.
Yeah,
because he's not just going to bed comfortable with the fact that he's president. He's going to be comfortable with the fact that there are others that are comfortable with the changes he's making in their lives, despite the fact that people from the opposition are saying the opposite. There's no message.
Yeah.
So it is a typical Liberians now that are telling you. So imagine, listen to the lady. she's highly, she's so much more enticed to the extent that if she had the slightest thought of not voting for the president, just because of that, she's going to go for him. So I want to say thank you to the president, thank you to the hardworking team of LEC.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, we live on Dubai Road.
Yeah.
We had an issue with our transformer. In less than 11 hours, it was resolved. So that's
and this is what a lot of people don't recognize. But let's talk about the level of transformation that's happened. That have happened at LEC, because 2005, when the Unity Party took over, they promised big light today. Small light today, big light tomorrow, and all of that. And as a result of that, there was this policy of the Unity Party they didn't seem to have trusted so much the local talent to the extent that they brought in a lot of different experts, in addition to, obviously some Liberians overseas, but they didn't trust much the local talent. The same thing they did with the Liberian Electricity Corporation. They brought in something called the management contract, where they brought in a foreign company to manage the transformation at LEC.
Correct.
And all of that. But it took like several years, and it didn't seem like LEC did much expansion on that level of management contract. The first 5 year came and elapsed. The second 5 year, even with that. So when the second 5 year elapsed, I think President Weah said, well, that was it. He allowed the locals to take over under now the leadership of Moni Ara Captain, and it seems as if LEC has just expanded ever since. Moni Captain has been doing quite well with the management of LEC, to the extent now we're talking hundreds of thousands of new connections being made, thousands of new households being connected. If we're to put it in perspective, you probably might not have heard that prior to the conflict, about 35,000 customers were connected to the national grid.
Yeah.
Only 35,000. Yeah. Now we're talking more than 200,000 customers. But it's not just that. It's not 200,000.
It's not 200.
It's way more than that now.
It's more than that. The Unity Party
was 200,000.
The Unity Party was 237. 35.
No, 200,000 households.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's more now.
That was 200,000 households. It's more than 200,000. It's 987,000 that are connected
customers.
To the grid. Yeah.
So listen now.
I'm getting what you going. It's the actual household connections,
households and customers.
That's right. It's the customers.
I agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's the point I was making. But also we've taken it beyond Monserrato. So the last time we're in Top Number, I don't know what the Kwame was on me in Top Number.
No,
I think they had some sort of blackout in the Monserrato end, and people were complaining. Oh, Colin gone, but Colin had gone to our M2 in Top Number. Right. We didn't know what was the case. We thought it was generator. But then when I went on Facebook, I see everybody complaining. Oh, there's a blackout. So I realized the same blackout happened in Top Number. So that's when I came outside and asked. The person, oh, but we've been on LEC. I was saying,
I told you.
So then we started to ask around. We realized that it was not just stop. It was not just bombing. It was also Cape Mount. It was also Magidi. It were parts of Lower Buchanan and Grand Bassa County and all those places. So electricity beginning to really, really expand, moving across the country. And that's some of the things that the president promised Liberians, and that's what he's delivering on. That's why he keeps asking for your votes.
But it's all of the grid work and all of that. This administration will sometimes you hear the president will commend his predecessor and say that, look, this is what Ellen did and we must build on it because government is continually. But the people will jump on anything that they think they will score political points.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks ago, they were on this token thing, as if to say computer just machines that are just set to just work, and you shouldn't have these glitches.
No problem.
And now they're not saying anything that tokens have been bought now, and everything went back
to status quo.
Right. You see, sometimes there's a blackout in Canada, all of these different places. So our folks on the other side must understand. And before you go, just talking about how they would jump on all of these negative things. So we were sitting somewhere yesterday. It's important for me to say this on the radio. one guy came. I can't say where we were, but it was about 2-3 a.m. in the morning.
Shit, come here,
And this dude, yeah, I try to go out. When I get this nice Cooper, right? When I get this, sometimes I just try to drive around. And, see
that's my fourth dream.
right? So,
But you got option.
so the guy came running. He came running. He said, "Oh, I got one guy in my car." He said the people wanted to cut his balls. They wanted to cut his neck, blah blah blah, and this that. So I went when he fell down from the people's car. I took him and put him in my car. So the other guy was like, "But man, you journalists, go outside there so you go see." I said, "It doesn't work like that."
Yep.
Let's assume what he's saying is true, but there's another side to the story.
That has to be true.
Yeah,
Right.
we live in a society where the whole West Africa, if there's an armed robber or somebody like that, when they chase you, those are the kind of things they will actually do to you. That's one scenario. Two, there could be a possibility that what he's saying could be right, but why is the Good Samaritan taking him and bringing him at this spot where folks are, taking in alcohol instead of going, calling the cops and all of that? First thing, he's tampering with evidence and all of that. Then I noticed among them there was these partisans and all of that. I was like, oh no. And then they started peddling this line. You see, we tell the country not safe with this. Based on, this is how they go around just painting with this crazy brush, right. And it is important to note that look what happened to our sister, involved with this American dude. You don't hear none of them, their advocacy and all of that. When Patricia situation happened at the ELW, it was Patricia, right?
Right.
Who's
The girl who died at ELWA.
No, I don't know.
At the shop, we have the press conference with blood gushing from her.
Oh no, that was Princess
Cooper.
Some kind of pee.
Cooper.
Right.
Yes.
And
Some kind of pee.
right. And so there's a lot of these things been happening. Then you have the love triangle thing with the other guy that was blamed. You had the journalist and the goat story, and that was blamed on government. And they go around peddling all of these lies just to pin this president. And listen to the president what he said. It was all about peace. He said October 10 elections will consolidate our peace and take our country forward. And to close, did you read Philip Brown's post this morning? You want
my honest opinion about that post? I thought, I agree that he was stating his opinion, and that is exactly the opinion of a lot of Liberians as far as those elections that you were referencing concerned. But I don't like the fact that he sort of insinuated that something similar might happen this time around. That was the level of insinuation.
It depends on what you're reading.
That's the kind of message that is sent to me. And it might have sent that message to a lot of different Liberians. Whereas His Excellency the President has consistently sent out this message that the election is going to be free, fair, and credible. He did that at UN. He's done that several times, in meetings with, regional leaders and regional fora and all of those different places. He set up a system in place, but also we have a record.
Threatening bloodshed
prior
to casting a ballot.
We also have a record.
That's what it does. I
think Gilman should speak next. But we also have a record of conducting a lot of different free, fair, and transparent elections.
Indeed.
Some of which the party has lost, including in Montserrat. And the president was gracious enough to come out and congratulate the winners. But I want to get Gilman.
Elections are now won on the day of elections. Elections are won based on what work you put in.
Right.
Okay. What have we seen? The former ruling party, I don't like to call them opposition, the former ruling party, Unity Party, and a few of the opposition, what did we see them do to prepare for these elections? When registration was going on, they were running to court to stop the process.
Yeah.
They didn't mobilize people to register. Okay? The court process was not finished, and they went and registered in a process that they said was not okay.
Right.
The school, you said the school is not good, But then you take your child to register your child in a bar school. All right. So the court threw that case out. They lost it. Here we are today. This president is campaigning as if to say he's the underdog.
He's never tasted the presidency.
Okay. He's doing everything to ensure that
and he's the front runner.
He's the front runner, but he pretends to be
the underdog.
Yeah. What I want to say here is he's the only one, and the CDC as a whole is the only party that is preaching peace or a peaceful elections. What we hear from the detractors, Kalasco always say the usual suspects, they are warmongering. They are beating this drum of if we don't win, then the elections are rigged.
Yeah, but it's only not rigged when they win.
Yeah, it's not rigged when they win.
Yeah, when they win.
And that's sad. That's not democracy.
But also some of what I think the message you're trying to send, what I get from it is that they're suspecting, or they're beginning to get the picture, the bigger picture, because it's one thing to host a rally like they hosted on Sunday, and then not look at the global picture. Some of the time people can be or in this emotional state that they were at a rally with a lot of people attending, and they become so emotional and forget to look at the global picture. They look at that parochial view just within that particular space and their surrounding,
right,
and forget about the bigger picture. Here's the bigger picture. First thing, President George and we are consistently won Montserrat County, by a wide margin. Between him and his near rival, it's been more than 20% of the votes.
Right.
Check it out. In 2017, the Unity Party had about 28 or so percent of Montserrat votes. George Weah was in the 40 some more percentage. In the second round, he was in 60 something. The Unity Party was in 30 something percent of the vote. The same thing happened even during the most formidable, when they had a most formidable candidate, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Well, Ellen is obviously more formidable than Joseph Boakai is. Yeah, right. So when they had their most formidable candidate of the Unity Party, President Weah beat her in Montserrat County. So it's one thing to just pull, a couple of people. And besides, traditionally, urban areas should be the stronghold of the opposition. Urban areas,
yes,
should be the strong. If you look at Zimbabwe, even other places, even the U.S., some of the time, the Republicans tend to, it's just the level of voting demographic.
Mm-hmm.
The rural people stick with the status quo. The government of the day. That's why people are beginning to suspect that the people of Lofa County will obviously vote for the president.
Absolutely.
Because, they got no record of not voting for whoever the president of the country is. So they might stick with the status quo. So we have expected that probably the Unity Party would have pulled much bigger number than they did on the 17th. When it turned out by 2:30, they were still struggling to bring people from across the country and all of that. And at the time, I think they were in panic mode because
that's when the trucks started coming.
That's when they were in panic mode because they realized that hey, if we don't fill this station, that's going to mark the death of our campaign.
Right.
This stadium, that's going to mark the death of our campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've consistently peddled this narrative that the president is unpopular, that people don't like him, they're running away from him. But meanwhile, he filled the stadium, filled all the streets of Monrovia, all of Central Monrovia, filled all of the suburbs were filled. People were at entertainment spots all over Monrovia dancing. Before 11 a.m. People were dancing across the country. But at 2 a.m. at 2:30 p.m. we can't even fill one small Anthony Tubman Stadium.
One thing we're not saying was, before the president, I think the president got around the state around 3-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But one thing we're not saying, or they don't want to say, is prior to the president even leaving his home to come at ATS, people started in droves going back home. Amidst all of those numbers you were saying, because they didn't want some human stampede and all of that. And the good news, guys, is that there was drizzles. It was raining because, or else, even with that, you saw the fire trucks still, springing hoses of water all over the place. So I just wanted to stress that point.
Yeah, but so let me just
go ahead, Daniel.
Go ahead.
Let me come in 1 minute. So the first thing is there are two things that are happening here that we got to consider. The brothers are already losing. The first one is that they are preaching a wrong campaign message. A message that they should be taking responsibility of, which of course I know we're going to discuss that. This issue of drugs that they keep pushing as a campaign message. The next one is that they are now instilling fear in the ordinary citizen with regards to the results that will come out of the elections.
Correct.
We hope our international partners are following very closely, because this is something that Liberians are very concerned about.
Mhm.
Every corridors of our communities you go now, the unity partisans are peddling the issue of war. And if we see folks like Prince Johnson, Yeke Koluba, the former Broadnake, these are people.
So Daniel, that's a specific topic we're going to get.
No, I'm not going to delve into it. I'm not going to delve into that. That's why I said we want to come to that. I'm trying to lay a premise here.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I have seen is that there's no message.
No.
And because there is no message, Liberians are resolved. Something happened the last 2 days on a radio station that I was fortunate to be a part of an opinion pool. 2 different pools, 2 different days. And what we did was we took our own number that the station did not have access to, and we put the numbers out and asked the callers. This is a station that is not politically sensitive. We asked the callers to call and tell us who you're voting for and why. Don't call your name. The first day President we are out of 50 votes, the first day President we are won out of 50 to 135. We got 115. Yesterday polls again. President William won 40 plus votes. Cummings won and Puaka won, I think, 9. So what this tells us, Liberians are aware of the impacts of the president.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there were some calls who were calling saying, we'll vote for the president, even if they say XYZ. That no, because this man has exposed us to things that we've never seen before in our country. When they were there 12 years, they didn't do it. So I just wanted to highlight that despite all the war drums they're beating and every other thing that they're trying to do, Liberians are resolved to elect the president. If come what may, anything that they try to do in this country that are going to smell peace and security, they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it.
Yeah, and just before we, maybe move on, but we were talking earlier about some of the challenges that the opposition folks are beginning to put forth as far as the election is concerned. And this is even before people start to cast their ballot. Firstly, you should know that the international partners in Liberia have issued their first appraisal of the electoral process. They validated it. They've said that they, all of the different processes have been credible, they've been open and all of that, and they thank the Elections Commission.
Right.
It is the opposition folks who, after their rally, after struggling to fill the stadium, and then they eventually filled it, but then they're beginning to see that even their different rallies up country, they've been, it's been a flop. We heard that Joseph Bata was in Bapolu. We didn't see much. It was zero. He was in Cape Mount. Where there are reports now emerging on some of the social media platforms that he gave, $100 to. That he gave $100 to somebody. I think some of the hospital management who were requesting assistance or something like that. Yeah. We got no way of verifying that, by the way. I should just put that out. It's done on social media. The Unity Party folks haven't come up to disprove that.
Was it US dollar or Liberty?
I assume it's US dollar.
In the worst case, that would.
So no, that would be the best case. The worst case would be so they're beginning to see that, with the exception of a few counties, firstly, the rural population will vote for President Weah. And I'm not saying this because that's what it's been. All the different rural areas the president has visited, there's something that people are not paying attention to. That happened in 1997 when President Taylor won almost 75% of the votes. That's the same thing happening here. When we went to Bong County, we took this drive from Banga all the way to David Dane's town. That was 3 hours off-road, not the main road, off-road drive. 3 hours. And, some of the places you will see like huts, hamlets, 3, 4, 5 huts along the road, deep in the forest. But one thing struck me. In each of those places, you have people coming out with CDC T-shirt, CDC beret, some of the homes, the mud houses, picture on it, and all of the different stuff. So you can tell that the bigger picture that they're missing is not the people that turn out at SKD, ATS. you know, which by the way still was not equal to the number of people that turned up for CDC rally and President George and we are right.
Totally agree.
It was way lower than that.
Totally agree.
But even the numbers across the country. So it is my opinion that the guys are beginning to realize that aside from the area that they have special regional and maybe tribal affinity, say for instance Nimba County where Jeremiah Coon, you know, probably come from, or Lofa County where Joseph Boaka come from, even though in those places we're going to challenge them, they're going to make it battleground counties. Even in those places, they're going to be really battle in those places. They begin to realize they're not getting much traction in the other part of the place. So they want to raise this narrative now that somehow the election is going to be rigged, and all of that and blah, blah, blah. So that's how you hear someone who has a history of murdering an existing, a sitting president.
Exactly.
Has the unbridled audacity to come out and then talk about, you know, if you shoot at us, if you don't have the call, you will either die, or the people will either die or you will die. So basically, he's threatening a sitting president.
Yep.
He's threatening again a sitting president.
Yep.
So that is happening because our Liberian society has been so lax. It's been since 2005. Nothing has happened, you know, as far as the recommendation of the TRC is concerned. You know, the U.S. government has consistently said that this man should not occupy any seat, you know, in government, in the government structure and all of that. It seems as if because of political consideration, nobody has really followed through with the TRC. So that's how he has this audacity to come out again and threaten a sitting leadership, a sitting president. You know, we're talking about, you know, that we will create the. Why are you talking about Arab Spring? President we have lost the turn. The CDC lost the Monserrate election.
Yep.
Thomas Fala, Dara DeLong, and President Weah came out and congratulated.
and Arab.
You know, congratulated Dara DeLong.
Exactly.
Even the Bible election.
Exactly.
And the president is still promising the election going to be free, fair, and transparent. So suddenly you jump off. But I heard from some Nimba folks yesterday that this man is beginning to smell the rat. You know, he's not.
I listened to that audio.
He's not as popular in Nimba County again as he thought, because Nimbayans are beginning to realize that the man is seeking his own interest.
Yep.
No, just less than 9 months ago, this man took George Weah to Nimba County on his birthday, his 78th birthday. Was that 70th birthday?
Can you play his audio, please?
So we'll get to it. Yeah. So this man President Weah accompanied him, and then he told the Nimbayans less than a year ago, say President Weah is the best candidate for Nimba County. This man is developing the place. He's made sure that he's empowered our sons and daughters, and this, that, and the other. He came out just a couple of months ago to elections when his desire was not met, and we know what the desires are because we heard some some of the media clippings, and the president sort of referenced that. The president said, if I would give money to anybody, it would be the money to develop Nimba County.
Exactly.
I'll use that money to build a Nimba road, like a road for how to call it, Ganta to Sanikole to Logatuo, from Ganta to Saklepie. To all the different places. Those are the roads you build, and Nimbayans are beginning to see that. But also Nimbayans are beginning to question that man, one family there, he been senator for 18 years. He's now asking for 27 years. Yeah. And then sort of feel so entitled that if I get it, the war will come and X, Y, and Z. So the joint security has issued a statement and a warning to Senator Johnson. You can't be the judge, jury, and executioner, you know, and that they take very seriously his comments that he made. And it's unfortunate that rather than denouncing it, the Unity Party spokesperson
they always
has come out.
They always do that.
My own friend Mo Ali has come out rather than denouncing it. You would have thought that Mo Ali would have said, "Oh no, this is not something the Unity Party supports." He said, well, the man was speaking in context, you know. Okay. Because that's the level of hypocrisy they exhibited. They vilified the man, but as soon as he supported them, they said he's a respected he's a respected religious leader. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. But the sea language, the physical church. Yeah, the physical church. Let's listen to a human.
You know, let me pick it back a little on September 17th. A great philosopher once said, if he sends a reinforcement everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. He will lose everywhere. They brought all their people from around here to Monrovia. How many activities did you see across the country for Unity Party on September 17th?
No, I wouldn't honorate that. That's not just me. I'm being real.
Right.
I mean, they did bring out people.
Talking about across Liberia, right?
Oh no, not.
It's not talking about ATS alone.
Oh, okay.
Because they brought their people from Grand Bassa, from Maggie, from Bapulu,
Right.
all the nearby counties to Montserrat. They brought everybody. Unlike CDC that had events going on across the country on September 7th. Okay?
Mhm.
So they know that they are not winning, they're not going to win.
Mhm.
So they're going to peddle on these hate messages, these lies and falsehoods and threat, or instilling fear in the citizenry.
Mhm.
That's what Prince Johnson and the former ruling Unity Party is all about. Let's go about talking about if we don't win, it's a rigged election, and we're not going to take it. We're going to fight. We're going to protect our votes. This morning, they are talking about going to NEC.
Right.
To
I almost asked about that.
Yeah.
They said they're gonna ask for the final voters roll.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, the final voter roll already been given. Election Commission gave the final voter roll in the 2017 election. I think they gave it in electronic copy. The Elections Commission folks were here or on the various platforms yesterday stating that they're going to give the final voters roll. So their stuff this morning is merely political posturing. They just want to create the impression that somehow the election is going to be rigged and all of that because they're smelling that they're going to lose.
Yeah, of course.
Let me
beginning to smell the rat. So they want to create the impression so their supporters say, oh, if we lose the rig the election this time. Remember the Lofa County election a couple of months ago when Joseph Jala won?
Yeah.
All of them went there. That one made Joseph Baga being very careful. He won't be disgracing Lofa because they went there, they were still flogged. Joseph Baga went there. All the different coalition, political party coalition, went there. The CPP, they went there, they flogged them. So they're being a little bit careful about Lofa. They don't want to go there and then Baga tell them, my hometown, my home stronghold, then they fly in there.
Yeah.
So they kind of studying the different situation. But even that election, they created the impression that they were being cheated. Remember that?
Right.
They say next site crash, or in fact they are getting some other fake news. They put out some other fake news. They say it came from next site, and suddenly the site had been shut down. All of those, none of them were true.
No.
That is the impression they're creating.
Because we saw, and that's why I was referencing that. Let's just say in context, the Browns post, and he's a very neutral.
Who's that?
The Browns post. I mean, it's not from government.
Right.
Oh yeah. I was referencing that. But we saw here when the same night, let's say, because Ellen served as president for 6 years, again after she won her first term, so we can say we saw that NEC inadvertently, in quotes, issue a letter to say that George Weah was the winner.
Yeah.
Then they later on will retract that letter. We didn't jump in the streets to say, "Oh, you say we win, and you blow the whistle, say our goal, and you cancel our goal." And so then why can we vote all over?
The former chairman of NEC or Kokoya, Jerome Kokoya, made that same mistake in 2017. He announced a number for President Weah, and then they went on the website, and that number was given to Unity Party. It was I think about 240,000 votes. So we saw that, we flagged it, and the next morning Kokoya called a news conference.
Right.
And said, my daughter called me from America and told me about the numbers. No, your daughter did not call you. We flagged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's good. It is good. Gilman digs deeper, and so they
digs deeper.
Yeah, they see
digging deeper.
Yeah.
Right. They see. The smell in the rat, and that's all I can say. Because if you look at all of these different things that have happened with the CDC and no time. I remember when we got I think it was 38 or how many percentage in 2017, and some of our folks were this, that. The president said, look, my friend, we have to trust this system.
Yep.
And I think we didn't work hard. So no Christmas for us. Our Christmas will come in after the 29th, after the elections.
Right.
Let's keep all our own food celebration and everything, and let's go to the poll. You need to now pick up your bootstraps, tighten it, and let's go all out. And this is what we did. We brought out the blitz, and you see what the president is doing. He's going from town, every nook and corner of this country, and he's coming tomorrow. Watch. The moment he touches this soil,
The dynamics will change.
less than 48 hours, you will hear him on the trail.
Of course.
You will hear him on the
And I
trail.
wanted to point out, just before Daniel
You will
comes in,
hear him. You will see him on the trail. And everywhere this president go, it is important to note, and this is what I want the rest of the country to know. You go Russia, you come back. There's no way Unity Party can pick up one of the southeastern county. That's impossible.
Yeah, no way.
They can never beat us here in Montserrat. That is impossible. Lofa and Nimba, where we used to get these little chunks and all of that, the president have done significantly well to the point where the Nimbayans are seeing and say, we can't stop this train now. We look at Sanikoli, look at what the other town, look at Tuo.
Yeah.
Look at this other town, all these different little towns, and look at Saklipi, all of these roads coming out. Then the Bungis, they will look at and say, but now our portion of Lofa, Lofa had already been paved.
Right.
We see Kota and all of that, our towns and all of that.
Yeah.
Now,
But
Lofians,
300 million
see the numbers that came out when Tifa and the rest of all the sons and daughters. You think they're going to look at that, even if we didn't get maybe 35 to 40%, whatever we're going to get.
Yeah.
So they're in the slightest word to ever talk, and then they're going around talking about one round victory. Really? Really? You're not even in that match.
What preparation is made for that?
So Kwame, the first thing is you just have to put yourself in a position to make believe. All right? And to make believe will mean that you just have to say stuffs. And that's what is happening in Unity Party right now. The first thing you should understand is that in the last 12 years, that party cannot show Liberians what they've done. For which Liberians should go and vote for them. One. Number two, President Weah is one of the most charismatic political figure we have in this country right now. Unlike 2017 elections when there were others, like the late Charles Warren Bromsky and what have you, were part of that process. Today, if you put Parker on the pedestal, you put President Weah here, the skill is, in fact, it's like putting a mercury in a plate and taking a pinch of salt and putting it on the other side. That is what they know. Okay, and the only way they'll try, just listen to some of the different radio stations and see what people got to say about this president. The facts are clearly there. Like you said, if President Weah arrives tomorrow, imagine the president confidently left the campaign trail, went to the United Nations General Assembly, and a Cuban who's supposed to be pressured to say, oh, I need to stay. Let my vice president go because maybe she can another. He left the campaign trail. Yeah. Took his key officials of government that will continue the investment engagements for Liberia. Took them along. Yeah, because to enhance our investment. The country has to be in the next 6 years. They criticized it. But guess what? Right. The wheels of the process were still turning. Liberians were still aware that in the absence of the president, his magnitudinal works are still present. He used another one today again. Okay. Well, what the last one? What did you say last one? What was the last one? The last one was Bantustan. So you see the thing is, so gentlemen, the thing. So you see, so the president.
Good English.
So the president comes back tomorrow. He lights up the country again with his luminance. You know his farsightedness, his ability to connect with other Liberians. Guess what? All other counties, they become alerted on the fact that the leader is back in the country. Right. And you said it right. You wait and see that president come tomorrow. You see how things will start the way again. Oh, indeed. It's gonna be like
Daniel had me laughing.
Yeah, magnitudinal work.
Yeah, and all his words are patented, so there's no way you can.
You can take it.
You can take it. Those are licensed.
That a cool that you forgive me.
Those are licensed words from exclusively for him.
But on a serious note, I think the Liberian people are resolved,
Very.
based on what this president have achieved over the last 5-6 years. Since October 10th last year, 2022, we began talking and asking this question because October 10th last year was exactly 1 year to the next election.
Yeah.
And 5 years back, that brought President Weah.
Indeed.
So we began asking the question: are Liberians better off today than 5 years ago, or 17 years ago, combining with Unity Party 12 years, or even ever in the history of our country? Is the country better off today? And every time we ask that or speak about it, it's a resounding yes.
Yep.
That the country is better off today. And there are things to account for those, for being better off. Does that mean that we don't have poor people, or people are still not surviving on $1.25 or $1 a day? When was the first time that we took into account that people needed or require $1.25 a day to live? It was not under President Weah, neither or Vice President Boycott time as Vice President, nor or Charles Taylor. It was way back. Okay, poverty is everywhere. There are poor people everywhere.
Yep.
But yet and still, when you have a government that devotes its time,
It's agenda.
agenda
Strictly on the downtrodden.
to improving the lives and conditions of the people. Ghana, Jerry Rawlings, when he began to develop Ghana, Ghanaians stood in line to buy sugar, to buy flour.
Yeah.
All right. But they did not hesitate. Like go English. They did not hesitate to pay their taxes because they saw their tax dollars working for them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That brings me to our current government that have raised the most revenue in a year compared to the former ruling party.
Oh yeah.
And then they tell us that under George Weah, there has been no new investors, no new investment.
Which is a lie.
Big lie.
No, we agree with them. But then everything remains the same from the time President Weah took over January 22nd, 2018. But how did his government was able to generate the most revenue?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
How?
And
In a year.
these guys,
How are we able to pay wax fees, to pay doctors?
And that is exactly what I wanted to talk about.
Hospital.
Because, so there is a major division, a stratification of the Liberian voting population, the general voters generally. So there's this group that sort of pride themselves as the political establishment. That's been a group that usually will lead Liberia and all of that. And then the economic class, they bundle up in one group.
Right.
Somebody told me the people that went to ATL are so adults, that mature people, that X, Y, and Z. So yeah, I said, the thing about it is the last population census showed that the youth consists of more than 60% of the Liberian population. So if we were to divide that by the mature and the youth, then we already won the election. But it's a fact that a lot of young people, by almost 80%, will support the president. And then there are the market women. There are the inner city folks, there are the slum dwellers, and all of those different people. So the president realized when he came to power that he had to do much for that level of people because they've been ostracized. So these people will just have taken government jobs, make the biggest money, about more than 80% of the total budget will just go into the payment of salaries, and it will just benefit a certain group of people.
Right.
Those within the political establishment, those within the corridors of power, and all of that. So the president said he had to shift that. Those are some of the things that led to the whole harmonization thing and the reduction of civil servants. I mean, not civil servants, but political officials' pay and all of those different stuff. My pay got reduced by 40%. The president cut his pay by 30%. All of us. So that extra money was what we used to pay for Mawata children in the slum, West Point, Nukutan, the wax fee. To make sure that their children can go to university library or paying extra money. That's why the president cut it from them and then giving it to the poor. Yeah. That's how he building the stadium in West Point, building the roads, building the stadium in Clarendon. And that's why making them mad.
Let me tell you.
That's why making them mad.
And still talking about what making them mad. Mm-hmm. When you hear them saying, the country hard, they're not enjoying and all of that. The enjoyment for them in Liberia and when the country is not hard is to call, hey, Thomas, Danny, where are you, but man?
Let's go to the beer shop. Let's go to the beer shop.
You can. Danny will put his hand in your pocket and buy a crate of beer.
Double 10 tables.
If I ask him for scratch card, he said, man, $20 US. The money is flowing. You've seen the money going all around. But guess what? There is no 14 military hospital.
Yeah,
the money is going around. Eating. Robertsfield Highway is not being paid.
And it's being paved now.
Money around.
It's being paved now.
Instead of taking somebody in wheelbarrow from Bapolu in the Western cluster there, they said, no, they're against it. Why you have a GFK-like hospital in that area? Yeah. But yet, money, Saturday, they're drinking goat soup and everything is just the country sweet. Ganta Harper Highway would not, and these are projects I'm saying, out of pocket.
But Kwame, somebody mentioned that to me yesterday. I was sitting on a place. The guy said, "I'm going to go for CDC for you're too mean." I said, "What you with me?" She said, "When the last time you get us or Gasly?" I said, "But we're not getting it again."
We see Gasly.
But I said the fact that we're not even able to give Gasly should be a plus, not a minus, because the government has cut off those excesses. Because what the guy used to do. Not only were they making astronomical amounts as their salary, they were supplementing out the Gasly. So when the girlfriends then asked them for Gasly, they just cut out the slip. So it was a waste.
Yeah.
It was a waste of government resources.
And look at Ganta Harper Highway. Ganta Harper Highway. Samuel Dobro ground for that place.
It's just what
and that's the song you say, you guys keep the blueprint and the work, the barrel, we will do it. If you look at, based on what we know now from the Minister of Public Works, that whole road from Ganta now all the way to Grand Cru, or let's say to Maryland, because guess what? They've done Saclay-Pier. There's funding already from Saclay-Pier to Town, to Tapita. We have there's funding according to the minister, Tapita to Town. It is that stretch from Town to Zwedru. Then you have the fish town, Kelipo. It's already on. Yeah. Then you have funding. So basically, if
let's open the lines.
Everything is all set for our people.
Let's open the lines. Call us on 080-514-096. That's 088-514-096 if you want to participate. On with the discussion that we are having now. Those are the numbers: 080-514-096 or 086-561537. 086-561537. Let's talk to this first caller. Isaac Dunn, by the way, hold on right here. Isaac Dunn is Isaac, okay. Let's talk to that caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Boaka, Cummings, News, and Digging Deeper. How you doing? Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Edmond Carr. We do have a say for the re-election of president. We are calling from Duporo.
Okay.
Know about the threat that will deter us from voting the president come October 10th.
I know.
Because this is the last strategies that they have put forward so that they will scare voter away. And then if they are pushing all around, we will go after them. But they instead of disruption in the electoral process, they can come up with a next plan to be for interim government. We are not going to allow that. We are not going to accept it. And let me appreciate my president. One thing away that I got from the president is that he was able to recognize what the world is currently faced with when you talk about flooding. Before he began his speech, he informed his colleague the problem in Libya, the problem in Morocco. He was able to empathize with them. That was good on his part. And to say that to the youth, the president admits that our population is 60%, the youth population is 60%. And he told the world that he has put in measures into place to make sure that the foundation is set for them to continue to improve themselves. And for the fact that he says for the fact that he says school fee at all public universities across the country, that is applause. And he also assured them that election going to be credible, and in fact, men have been giving independence to conduct this election. But then they are saying he didn't say anything. So we don't know what they want him to say, what they expected him to say. But as he returns to the country tomorrow, we are preparing to go and receive our president so that we can complete our remaining campaign activities. We're not going to be deterred. We're not going to listen to them. Go all up and encourage other people and teach them how to vote. Teach the old man how to vote. Teach the younger one how to vote. Because the youth population are serious for this voting process. So now educate them how to go about casting their vote for the president so that we'll be able to pick them up on one round. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's talk to other callers. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, we're well.
Okay, this is Abenigo Newton.
Okay, Abenigo, go ahead.
Okay, the message, I'm glad I just want to be on the show, and I'm very happy for you guys exposing on the development of the state and how the problem with this coming in its message. Yes, and I believe that will be done. We all know that the opposition, they are vaccinated to the presidency. So this is why the Korean have spread the information that are rooted to lies. But we will not go on to that. We are committed to re-vote the president, and we are deployed in every town and village of our state. And we will make sure that the 1 round to do is being achieved for the president to be re-elected. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Let's talk to more callers. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Kitchen Freeway.
Okay, Monima, go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you guys, thank you for always propagating the message of our president. That's the president we love, and that's the president we hope to see him elected to serve the great people and continue to do what he has started. But my only concern I want to raise is that when the United Party people say that the blood is not safe, what then you see them in the country that were Ikema last night? A party that not safe before they last night. Every bombing they were there.
Traveling in the net.
And they say the country is not safe. And they keep on that last night. So let them just wait. In fact, everything they say they will do that what Joel is doing. Even the people you say you will bring water in from Ikema. How can be brave enough to tell you that you will bring water there when in fact you could not even advocate for water. Then they are telling that they will bring cover when in fact Joel is what? Bring cover to us. And Joel is bringing our what kind of message they have to give to us? So for them, let us just wait right after Joel or 17, we'll find out when we'll continue from there. If you have a God bless you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Richardson, and I joined the conversation from about Cowell.
Yeah, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to say hi to all of you guys in studio, and I'm so excited this morning to come on this platform. You know, I ran away from Broadville, and I came Cowell because of Elbc. Broadville was very dark, so I got very hard in Cowell. So for me to see President Kevin Corrin District 17, I saw our people on Rare celebrating yesterday.
You saw that, or you listened to that? Yeah, did you see that yourself?
In fact, you know, the Elbc and Gahu are going live. The moment you come on, I will get a singer.
Okay.
I watch that thing. Yeah, I watch that thing. And I found out to myself, I said, well, why would you change President I
know.
Everything that we know in this country, we talk about rule, we talk about Elbc President we are there. You talk about free school President we are there. So, except the opposition want to tell me that maybe they're coming to do different things, but everything that we need
gradually President we are touching everything.
I know.
You know how many years since the war, our people are not experienced anything in District 17. Today, our women will be able to make a little water cool. And when we to my place, we used to buy water, the $10 for the rent, water at $5 in Single Grand Candy. Then somebody telling me that President, I'm not doing anything except you tell me that anyone when Pogga become president, maybe he get different Jana or the real Jana will have in our problem in Liberia. We need road, we need electricity.
But besides, no, go ahead. Complete your point.
Yeah. So these are the things. So I call on the radio tell President, we are thank you very much. Soon I'll be moving back to 70. Thank you very much.
but besides that, another thing is, and this guy raised a point. All of the things they've talked about, those are the things that the president is doing. But the thing is, they're not even talking about these things now on the campaign trail.
No.
All they talk about is kush. So why a platform now?
And let me. It is important to note
The platform is kush now.
that you know, and we spoke about this, and don't forget to play that Prince Johnson's audio.
Yeah.
Okay, and you hear the new song in town now. Even during the rally, and even tomorrow, you're going to hear that. We won't kush. We won't kush. Because this is an angry vote now. It's like a backlash in their face.
Right.
And because you cannot peddle lies.
No message, man.
Let's talk to Opi Onu Johnson. Opi, good morning. We're going to talk to the Assistant Minister shortly. But before that, Opi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, PK.
Oh,
We
Opi.
lost him.
We lost you. But you can call us back.
You can't be peddling those kind of lines of fear and all of that as if to say.
Opi is back. Sorry. Good morning.
Yeah, PK, good morning. Thanks for the recognition. I joined the conversation on the headquarters of the Veterans Bureau in Docomet this morning. Well, let me appreciate you guys for the burden talking points. And I think it is only blind loyalists who wouldn't see the progress, the significant inroads being done by this president. We want to appreciate this president for his remarkable achievement over the year. For example, the construction.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we can do with him. But let's take our last caller on the line. We'll take the Assistant Minister at this. If he can call us back. Assistant Minister Sano, Jura Sano. But let's talk to that caller then. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Your name, where are you calling from?
Jake Sambato calling from Port County.
Morning, Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel, go ahead.
I want to appreciate you people for the program this morning.
Yeah, Samuel, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you people for the program this morning. We know what we got to tell opposition is that we appreciate them for the talking and we support them. When it comes to vote, I want to definitely vote President we are.
Okay, Samuel. Thank you.
Wow. Anyway, can we take more callers there? Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sema Braga, and good morning to Deacon people, and good morning to the many listeners.
Morning.
Good morning.
You see the opposition, they are very, okay, first my name is Alvin Chie, I'm calling from Simple Creek.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You see the opposition, they are very lazy. I want to go and go there and teach her that we agree. No, all the things they tell you there is the fact. It's the 100% truth.
Yeah, we agree.
We agree. 12 years, there are many opportunities for me. Years, there are a lot of resources that were coming. But it's hard to squander But all His Excellency, Dr. George Manning, we have good roads, we have electricity expansion. Now, right now, I'm speaking in parallel, we soon get electricity. Now, electricity are moving strongly along the Round Road. Now, electricity are in our two communities, Round Road. So, we would vote this president based on tangibles and deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do awareness before I close. But people, many listeners are bringing listening to me. The election are going for October 10th. When you vote against President Weah, you'll be voting against electricity, meaning you don't want calling. When you're voting against President Weah, it means that you'll be voting against free tuition. When you're voting against President Weah, it means that you'll be voting against what fee being paid. When you're voting against President Weah, you'll be voting against paved road in rural communities. When you're voting against President Weah, you'll be voting against parks.
You'll be voting against development. So come after 10, let us go and vote for president. We are for intangibles and deliverables. We want development.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk to this. Let's talk to the Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Information, Jua Sana. Jua, good morning.
Good morning. Am I clear? Good morning.
You are loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Good morning.
Welcome back home, Mr. Wild Gilman. Though he did not call me, I bear with you.
I'm sorry.
The one-man army. Who sits in America and destroy enemy back home with his supersonic missile. Welcome back home.
Thank you, Minister.
On a serious note, we are moving for the re-election of His Excellency Dr. George Manawia and Dr. Joel Howard Taylor. The way they won in 2017, that victory will be repeated in October 2023. I just want to call, because if we want to say why we are electing him for, I will take all of your time, no need. Tomorrow, he arrives tomorrow to Liberia.
Yeah.
After going to the world stage and made our case, he will be coming back tomorrow. We call on Liberia 2 countries, Magibi and Montreal. RRA is in Magibi and he will be coming to Montreal, 2 countries. We will land the road tomorrow. All the towns and villages on the highway will stand on the road tomorrow with a blue helmet, with a red, representing red, white, and blue, the national colors of Liberia, to give him a rousing welcome and his powerful delegation. I am told that the president will leave from the RRA straight to the party HQ to address the people of Liberia. As he arrives on tomorrow Sunday, he will rest for a day. Latest Tuesday or Monday, he on the campaign trail.
That's what Kwame was talking about. 48 hours.
When
I rest for a whole week, after 17, they will rest a whole week.
Listen, and when he leaves tomorrow,
how you do development, bro?
Listen, when he leaves tomorrow on Monday, he's not coming back until on the 7th of August, not August, October. We will tour the 15th county, Yara Don 7. He will do the Balawan in the next days to come. He will go to all the counties. He will tell the people, they say the man say you will win, why you campaigning so vigorously. You want to be an A student, you must continuously study.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
I repeat, you want to be an A student, you want to always go 90, 95. Be someone who is studious. You can't study how you will pass.
Yeah.
So John Williams is studying so that he can pass with 98%. He will make the record. They say he can't win. He won. They are saying he will not win again. Those who say he can't win, in fact, their number say it's reducing. Our number is increasing.
Yeah.
Our number is increasing. Michael Gilman left America, his comfort, and came back home and registered. Now he's back
to vote.
And he will remain grounded. And
now you know what get a mess schedule.
I'm warning him now. Now the advice, I'm warning him.
Traditionally,
in the president comfort to move to Grand Jide. Let him go with the president to Grand Jide and speak the crown to the crown people.
Right.
And Kwame, that man who from South East, Tom, who can pronounce 25-letter war. Go see the real group.
Mama Lino.
Speak the Gio and Lamadingo to the people in Nimba. We will tell them why this place will be re-elected for.
Right.
It's a don't deal. Let them do what they want to do. Let them say what they want to say. We will win. And we will win free and fairly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Wow, that was powerful from the minister there. But I think we can take one more caller from the line.
Yeah.
And there is a clip that I want to play about somebody who was giving a different description of Liberian voters. But let's talk to this caller. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Bro Baga.
Yeah, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Maurice Pastor, calling from Do Community.
Morris, go ahead.
Yeah, Bro Baga, let me say, campaign for all the campaign just starting tomorrow. Because
you going to the airport? You going to the airport?
They say, me are coming and they say, hey, when they say, what beer? So the car would not jump out, I would not jump out minutes the 4 hours tomorrow. The campaign just starting for all. So maybe to never, what was that? All the thing, what was that? All that, what too much. That what too much. I want lose confidence in this.
I agree.
So next time, the CDK, when many president, war will come. Let the war in the country. So yeah, the
Thank you. And that's all the call we can take right now. That's all the call we can take right now. But I'd like to play 2 clips. The first one is this guy.
Presidential election approaches. 2 counts of voters are seeking to elect and re-elect their candidates. One group of voters is voting for the future, whilst the other is voting for the past. The voters that are voting for the past are voting against the harmonization exercise. They are voting to see again a single government official pay rise from 15 to 30,000 USD monthly salaries. They are voting for the decrease of civil servants and increase of salaries. They are voting to get money back into the pockets of government officials and civil servants, getting back to having excessive fund. When men will be able to spend a lot on women and high-ranking officials will get back to buying properties abroad and paying mortgages in the U.S. They are voting to end free tuition policy at the University of Liberia and all public universities, as well as end the payment by government for the West African examination fees. On the other hand, the voters that are voting for the future are voting to see the continuities of infrastructure development, like highways, feeder roads, from government renting private buildings to owning theirs. They are voting for improvement on technology, like the migration of the old age registration process at all public universities to the digitization of all public university systems. They are voting for the continuities of free tuition policy at all public universities and colleges in Liberia. They are voting for the continuities of construction of free housing units for poor citizens. They are voting for the continuities of building more recreational centers like these, and as well building more hospitals around the country. Now, let me see in the comment section. Are you for the past or the future?
Guys, are you for the past or the future?
I'll take the future.
That was
past or future.
Of course, I'm for the future.
Denny?
Yeah, but you see,
Denny?
Yeah, but listen, I will put it. I'm putting it in the context before.
Are you for the past or the future?
The election now. The election.
In my era, but cash your valor.
The past created a platform for the present. The present must pave the way for the future.
Absolutely.
So that past, nobody wants the past.
Nobody wants the
this
past.
present, we want to take the present to the future.
There is another clip I want to play just so we can begin the discussion. The people have been saying
take the present to the future.
They've mounted all the different platforms just telling lies and about things happening in the country. They've even hired other platforms to carry their lies. But it seems as if those messages aren't resonating with ordinary people.
No way.
So let's listen to one ordinary woman. I think it's a marketer who's basically is concerned about all the lies. And then this is her view. I think she's politically genius. Just listen to her.
Right.
What getting you so afraid? You are the United Party people. The thing is, and I come party can't talk about you can't talk. The thing I follow AFP party, I'm the who's the party, and all in the country, they can't talk about you can't talk. And I brought both sit and the course and more. You're passing around, threatening people. Echo listening to you. The whole world is the court threatening with my okay. Nobody talking to you. Who? You're who, by the way. United Party, and I who. You want to. So you're trying to tell what I you like you. Are you like you? The first time for let me tell you what happened in the country. You know why you need your child going to a child in uniform. Then they take that child from the school campus straight to him people.
This is graphic.
Nothing, no achievement. Everyone where you going. So if you're not where you going, you not suffer. Sit down. So no one. Whatsoever you're telling, let me just tell you. Some of us say that our day was a not scare. We not scare you. You're like when you're taking over radio book and get by me. I want to do. You got to go about asking. You got again in more than 10, 15. You are going to West Soya. No more work. No West Soya.
Yeah.
Everybody's making people all way to like the people that not believe that I am afraid, but me, I'm afraid. So let me just tell you. I think you've been making go ahead, you are not living district. If I were living district, you can call I will vote against you. Let me see what you do. Let me see what you do. That's the time you tell me whether you own labor or you not own labor, or that you own district or you don't own it. So this is why I get to tell the Liberian people. First time voter, you want the future. You need good life. So if you will be with people that are saying that you will be going to school, they collect you, they put you card, okay, you on the front, because this is why you don't call back do. This is why people just do. People children used to be passing on the quota as soon as they see you in uniform, they will grab you on the street, they put you in the paper, they carry you on the front. When they carry you know how to fire, you don't know how to fire, they will kill you ready.
Constricting children.
And when they tell you that your man do that your party, so you're the first time voter, you are not see what you're open your hand. Those people they not mean good, they mean evil.
Wow.
I'm not discussing about your election, Benny. But who they all sit down making the Liberian people arguing that you want to fear people will fight will do that. Same more saying you people carry on to Jews protect.
Yes.
Jews protect your turn the whole country upside down. Eh? You can't call by saying that behind because I have to you will shoot, you will kill, you will fire, making Liberian people punish to power responding in the house. Everybody's there. Oh, we are going even in my community. People since we're coming by, we're putting our home. We are few because you can't call by name. They say Jews and they will protect. Hey, let me tell you. That's Sunday Liberian people are full of your bed. They majority will not full of you. We are taking the one you are using according to you, general, according to you and previous. Go to PK, go to 50 Calaba, go to GT, go to Motogo, go to RPG, go to AK Fresson, go to AK Shobo, go to go to everything you can. Nobody is for who win, I don't win. But nobody don't feel that you're threatening with my giving. Why will be out of fulfill? That one can be out of fulfill. Who wants to fulfill? If La Peter win, a Peter win, if Paul win, a Paul. But she say it too. Because they see to your day to the poor, that they want every one of your skin now. Yeah, you are already there. You are already there. So you need when you and anyone there, you're already there. So now you want to wake it back. No making nature, free and fair election. That one will take place. And when they bring the people, you want to go in the pool, you want to clean the cocoa tree, you want to clean the pantry, clean it. But we will not be afraid of you later. Liberia will not be afraid of you. We will vote according to our choice. We tired with the serving, we tired with the dross.
Hello? Yeah, go ahead.
So we have the Assistant Minister for Budget, Honorable Jessica Kobwe, from LOFA. Honorable Kobwe, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, set the scene for us, and where are you at the moment?
Right now, I'm in Kowa City in Kula home. I'm getting ready to head to Fuya.
What's the general momentum there?
Well, we had a campaign launch in Kula home on Wednesday. It was amazing. I mean, what I saw, tears came down my eyes. You know, it just debunked all the theories in Monrovia that Lofens do not appreciate and like the president. I mean, it defied all of those odds. I mean, it was quite amazing. In fact, starting from Salaye to Zozo, you know, on Monday the 18th, we had the first rally in Salaye. And then on the same day, we concluded Zozo. But then by doing that, we concluded district number 5. And then we had a couple of stopovers in district number 4. And then we also ended up watching them. But unfortunately, because of all of the stops we made along the way, we ended up watching them in the net. But the evidence is there. Bojama was charged. The people of Bojama came out to welcome us. And then on Wednesday, we proceeded to Kula home, where we had a rally, a very amazing rally. I mean, it was the week. I mean, it was so amazing. The people, the young, the women, the elders, they all came out, and it went very, very well.
What are some of the most surprising things you're hearing from your people?
Well, some of the most surprising things we're hearing from our people is the fact that the government interventions in the county, the rules, the wise. I mean, three most important things. You know, that the people really, really appreciate in the county. The issue of the role, the issue of the president was free was payment program and the free public school tuition policy. These are some of the highlights of what the fans so much appreciate. And the fact that since the ascendancy of this president, Lufa has experienced the most peaceful environment ever in the history of post-war era.
Who are some of the sons and daughters of Lufa and from this particular government that are back home as compared to you?
You mean currently?
I said, who are some of the government officials that are back home as compared to you that are from this?
Currently, who are the guys on the campaign trail?
Right.
We have Honorable Thomas Father, who's spearheading this campaign trail.
Okay.
We also have Honorable Moses Colley is here. We have Benedict Cordoba is with us here. We have Vavi Ture is with us here. We have Woloba Colley is with, in fact, he's the coalition chairperson for Lufa County. He's with us here. And couples of other directors, and other middle level government officials from the county.
Are you expected to be joined by other officials from Monrovia?
Of course, yes. In fact, Jangaku just spoke with me a few minutes ago. He said in the county very, very soon. And others are expected very, very soon also.
Let's talk, that play has been viewed. Jesse, you on the line?
Yeah.
I'm on the line.
That play has been viewed as a traditional stronghold of, opposition leader Joseph Boakai and all of that. What would you say, has been the political trend in the lead up to October 10 elections? There are some other folks who say maybe, President William might put a dent in that level of support, but it will not be sufficient enough to overturn the entire result from Lufa County. What do you think?
All I can say here, Boakai and Whips, is that let's wait for Ottawa 11.
Okay.
For me, I usually don't like to get myself involved with some of these unnecessary debates coming from the end of the opposition.
Okay.
Let's wait for Ottawa 11. The opposition themselves know very well what's happening in Lufa. They are here. Some of them are seated in Fuya, some of them are seated in Zozo. So they understand what's going on right now.
Oh, wow.
Deep down their minds and their hearts, they know that Lufa is never the same as it was 20-something, and they know Lufa will never be the same as it was 20-something.
I want you to print us a picture. Somebody in Monrovia. Lufa County is sort of one of Liberia's most diverse. Let's talk about the different demographic. Let's talk about the Kisi Belt, for instance, the Bandik Belt, the Loma Belt, the Mandingo Belt, the Mende Belt, and all of the different places. Let's talk about that for a second.
Well, so you have a concentration of the Loma, between the District 5 and the District 4 belt.
Well, will you call the town particularly, because we know the district there.
Right. Oh, well. The Loma Belt starts from the Zozo district.
Okay.
And then it ends in the Wanjaman district.
Okay.
So that whole stretch is the Loma Belt. Right? So but within the district number 4, which is the Wanjaman district, the Wanjaman region, you also have a Koniboni Belt that also make up part of the of district number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to district
which consists of the Mandingos, right?
It's the Bani Kingdom. And then district number 2 also share part of the Bani Kingdom, where Judy Fatuma Weir is the representative.
Okay.
They also share a portion of the Bani Kingdom and a portion of the Kisi Kingdom.
Okay.
And then you have district number that's district number 2. District number 1 is the Kisi Kingdom. Where Thomas Farah is contesting as our representative aspirant, candidate.
So my point, the point I was asking.
Okay, good. The president support cut across the board.
Okay.
It cut across the board. Because this is evidenced by the kind of appreciation and the kind of turnout we see citizens coming up for all of these segments of the population of Lufa, appreciating the president, coming and listening to our messages. And I tell you this, ask anybody who was in Lufa 2017, 2005, 2011, 2017 elections. It was almost like a taboo in Lufa to even wear a CDC t-shirt.
Wow.
It's a taboo in Lufa to wear a CDC t-shirt. You hardly see people even wearing CDC t-shirt. But I tell you, just send me 5,000 t-shirts right now. If you make a mistake and just stop in the middle of the road,
we'll finish.
And give one person t-shirt, I mean, they will practically tow your car off the road and
Wow.
Wow. That's what's happening in Lofa right now. You know, so I mean, it's just so amazing. And I tell you, you know, let's wait for October 11th. Our brothers and sisters from the other side will actually be surprised. They are fully aware of what's happening in Lofa right now.
You know, we saw semblance of that less than a year ago, I think a year ago, when Joseph Jala won the senatorial elections. Even though Joseph Boakai, who is regarded as the political leader of that part of the country, was present for campaigning and all of that. Have you seen some of the opposition folks campaigning there, specifically people from the Unity Party? Jesse? I think he's gone. I think Jesse's gone. Yeah, but that was Jesse Cobway there. You know, the sons and daughters of Lofa County, myself included, have descended on Lofa County, and they've been doing that, not just election. You know, people, the electors are not a bunch of products, you know, that are packaged and placed in a bag and waiting to be picked up
and delivered
and used at any time. You know, and it seems as if that's how folks within the Unity Party have considered the Lofa County voters to be. They since the elections, they don't visit. You know, former Vice President Joseph Boakai barely visits Lofa County. He barely interacts with the people of Lofa County.
Right.
You know, nobody can tell that the Lofa County people came out in such numbers to vote for him because he hasn't appreciated them as much. He only went during the course of the last election, senatorial election, to go and ask them for their support, which is unfortunate.
We have Honorable Kobo back on the line. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please. You know, as I was saying, the different segment of the Lofa population, you know, is actually appreciating the president for everything he has been doing in the county and everything he's doing in the county. So I cannot specifically see, you know, this particular segment of the population, you know, is the one spearheading the entire support base. I think it cut across the entire population of Lofa.
Finally, before we get to Gilman, do you see any panic, you know, with the opposition?
Of course, and that's why I told you initially, which the guys are panicking. They know very well. They may just wear that brave face, you know, in the public, but they are panicking. You know, we're getting information from that camp. They are panicking. They are panicking. And the people of Lofa have never stood up for the president in this manner in 2005. So of course they are panicking.
And honestly, they call him Tanu, right? They call the president Tanu, the town owner.
Exactly. But unfortunately for them, you know, they cannot do anything about it right now. The president momentum is very high in the county. So I mean, they can't stop it. It's unstoppable right now.
Wow. Honorable Kobe, this is a Gilman from Junior High Talk, digging deeper. I want to know, I listened to you here. From the look of things, Lofa County may fall to the CDC. Tell us here, what numbers? You keep talking about, I'm waiting for October 11. What numbers are we looking at that would be comfortable for us in the CDC? 40%? Are we going to witness another 85 to 15% or 55, 45, 50, 50? What are we looking at?
What I can tell you, this is part of our core strategy in Lofa County, and I usually don't feel comfortable discussing, you know, our strategy on the radio.
I agree.
On the radio, the strategy that we have to move the numbers towards us. You know, I try to avoid discussing our strategy.
Yeah, which is necessary.
What I can tell you, Mr. Gilman, is that what happened in 2017 will never happen in Lofa anymore. Trust me on that.
Right.
What happened in 2017 will never happen in Lofa anymore.
Is there any other thing you want to add before we let you take leave of you?
Well, lastly, I just want to inform the general population of Liberia that today the Lofa campaign, the coalition Lofa campaign team will be entering Foya City. So I encourage all of you to tune in. You know, it's going to be on the social media. You be the judge for yourself. Bucket, I mean, Peter, you guys to take specific interest in our campaign movement in Lofa County. I know you may have some journalists embedded with our group moving around. So to watch out for Foya this afternoon.
Oh, you guys are entering there this afternoon.
We are entering Fuya this
triumphant entry.
We are entering Fuya this afternoon. So watch out for our entering Fuya this afternoon. I'm full right now. Fuya is completely in euphoria to receive us. Thanks to Honorable Thomas Fowler, thanks to the President initiative in the county, thanks to the government interventions in the county. The people of Fuya are waiting for us, hungrily waiting for us to enter Fuya this afternoon. And I can tell you, it's going to be massive. It's going to be unimaginable. It's going to be unbelievable.
Tell us what all the president have done in Fuya.
As I stand in Kolahon this morning, I see electricity lines, all over Kolahon, stretching as far as Wanjama City. That alone, the issue of the hydro, that's something that is unimaginable. Some of the folks on the side,
the hydro.
The hydro. Of course, the president is constructing, the government is constructing on many hydro in the Kolahon belt that is going to supply electricity to the Kolahon belt, to the Fuya belt, as far as the Wanjama belt.
Wow.
So we see poles we see wires that are all passing all over the place. I think a few months from now, you come back here, you're going to see the entire region here electrified. So that's one thing that has impressed the people in this region. And then the road also, the transformation of the Wanjama High School from the Mayor High School to a vocational institution, the President Watch program. And I tell you one thing I forgot to tell you. Look, Weeks, when you come at these rallies and you see the first-time voters, it's just overwhelming. It's just so amazing. The first-time voters are coming out for the president. I think that's a game changer in the county here. The first-time voters are becoming a game changer everywhere. They appreciate the WATS program. They appreciate the free education policy that has been initiated by the president. I think this is one thing. These are two policies that have just undercut the opposition in this republic. Initially, when the president started it, the longer the president said it was not sustainable, wasn't going to happen, but now they realized that, it was the greatest mistake they ever made in their regime to have not initiated programs and policies like this. The first-time voters and Weeks and Parker, it's just so amazing. It's just so amazing.
I will ask you the same question before you go. The same question I asked the superintendent. You cannot talk to a Lufian without discussing the cuisine. Bani quick service or tabagi. What's your favorite delicacy?
Quite a different soup.
But I come from the Loman Bill. So tabagi. This morning for breakfast, I ate beef tabagi.
Breakfast.
So for afternoon hours, probably I'm going to eat kasali tabagi.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, then I come out with a topo suyi. So that's what's going on right now in Lofa.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse. I was hinted that the district coordinator of District 6 Montreal County wanted to say something to us. Amadou Belete is on the line. Amadou, good morning.
That was so, yeah.
The conscious management in studio.
Yeah, Amadou, go ahead.
Yeah, Waka, let me say thank you for the opportunity. The story that has been resonating around here in the social media is not true. We pay a visit to a group of people from Patton State. Last night we were there up to about 10 p.m. from the Rock Hole community in the rehab belt.
Okay.
And it will surprise you to note that the game changers are the first-time voters. We went there based on reports that the people are people from Lima. When we got there, the stories we got is what I intend to share with you. A young lady at the age of 18 said that she is in Nimbayan and she's supporting George Weah for one singular reason. That is, from Morocco to Ahuta, Honor Ellen Johnson and Joseph Waka, she took about 8 hours. Today, she's taking only 2 hours. She promised her parents that at the age of 18, she should be on her own. And at 18, that woman is having a place of her own and doing her own business. The nice story was that they said that they cannot take out their intestine and put leaves in. That was a parable that they have been giving to the kids. And the kids said they prefer to put a leaf there because the leaf have produced for them The child said her brother could not end high school because what fee could not be paid, but George will have to pay her what fee plus transportation.
Wow.
More to that, they are voicing to go to Nima County, and we are making that arrangement. 37 of those young people last night, along with their family member and parents, are prepared. The next one, there is a myth that is resonating in Raleigh among the market people, that this government intends to remove the people from Raleigh immediately after the election. That is not true. As a member of the infrastructure team of this country, what we intend to do at Raleigh is that Raleigh will remain Raleigh. The goods that comes from the other time will be dispatched at Ominga, where other people will go and collect it and carry to the rural market. We only have the fence to protect the people from the road. The stores at Raleigh will remain. They will not be shut down. Those who are doing business there will remain. And the people who are selling fruits and other things, the stores at Ominga will be supplying the Leeward County. So we are calling on our people. They have lied. They have told the stories that cannot be told. And it is about time that we, as the people of Liberia, make history, and history will be made.
Thank you. That's about ability there. A couple of, in fact, it was good he made those clarifications. And in similar vein, I wanted to make another clarification about the lies that were told about the whole drugs, that reportedly the methamphetamine that came at the airport. So can you imagine? It would interest you to note, Gilman, that these guys peddle lies that drugs came at the airport. Firstly, it was moringa leaves, and it was, discovered that it was being transported through an unfamiliar route. As a result, it led to some suspicion, and the government of Liberia made vigorous effort to ensure that it is fully tested using UN organizations and all of that. Otherwise, it would have just been placed in the open. People look at it and say, "Oh, I'm illegally carried," but the government said, "No, we're not going to stop there. We're going to make sure we test it." So it was tested. And guess what? Some people deliberately sought to put the name of a person, a higher up in government, saying that the government people bringing it in the country. Can you imagine how far the politics have gone? I think it was either because of politics or criminal intent. But this is the fight. The thing actually came in the country to somebody who is called the consignee, the person who was designated to receive it. How we know that consignee? Because Kenya Airways, a private-owned airline, gave us the original way bill.
Okay, where you put that?
The original way bill said that Stephen Daniel, the recipient,
right,
for Kenya Airways. The Kenya authorities, through the Ministry of Agriculture, said on the original way bill that Stephen Daniels. It is only the company, the company that is based in Liberia at the airport, GLS NAS Global, paper that we have some higher up in government, for which GLS, by the way, we should give them credit. They've begun an investigation. How did that even happen?
Right.
That the company, the airline, the paper is different from what they're supposed to give, because this company is responsible for how do they call it, cargo handling and all of that. It's not the airport authority. It's not the folks at the airline.
But Boyka and folks here, you should first understand where did this information about this higher up came from.
I know.
Okay, the Unity Party propaganda machine, their face of their campaign on social media, in the radio land, and what have you, Stanton Witherspoon and the Spoon Empire, the criminal empire, they began running with that information. Okay, this man created 7,600 fake nursing degrees in America.
I know it.
All right. He created fake degrees for himself that was revoked in Ohio. He created another fake degree for himself that was also revoked in New Jersey.
Wow.
I have those licenses. I have the numbers. Okay? I'm not talking.
You're not making things up.
I'm not making things up. I published them. I have them. All right? He's the one that created those fake. That's why I said state original way bill. He created that fake stuff. Okay? This man he's going to jail. He's going to be sentenced October 2nd.
November 2nd.
November 2nd. The Unity Party, the DeLons, the Yomli Kanga Lawrences, the Joseph Boakai, that have received hundreds of thousands of dollars from Stanton Witherspoon, have not come out publicly, openly, to distance themselves and return those monies to charity. That's what people of good nature do.
Yeah, true.
You know, this man is a convicted felon. He pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you still appear on that platform and you want to talk about corruption?
Yeah.
Show me your friend. I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sit with Stanton Witherspoon.
Yeah.
The vice president was seen with one Poto.
Yes.
I understand how to call it, Joe Poto or something. Who's I got no how to call it that, but that's allegedly who he is. That he's some sort of swindler or all of that. But the vice president, the former vice president, also said that he's willing to dance with the devil. That he's hanging out now with Prince Johnson and all of those folks. So it shows a level of desperation. So he can hang out with Stanton, who's about to go to jail.
Lastly, they want to blame government officials of importing drugs.
We got less than 2 minutes.
Yeah. How do an official of government bring in drugs and then the very government arrest the drug?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we've uncovered their plot. They will ship anything and put some government official name on it as the consignee.
And then they bust it.
And then it's busted. All right? So, hey, the Liberian people have come of age. They are not as gullible as you may think.
Time is up.
Daniel?
Well, we said it all. The only thing I can say is that this issue of drugs, they just need to go back and do their own research. This thing started since 2013.
And that's the point I'm coming to what the lady was talking about, the different drugs. Tramadol, Italian, all of them were on the United Party.
Yes. In 2013, the West African Commission on Drugs sent 2 commissioners here that met Madam Solif and told her at the point in time United Party-led government was not doing much in terms of policy to tackle the issue of drugs. So to come back today for United Party to come and say that this government is peddling the issue of drugs, it's just a foolhardy.
Kwame?
Yeah. Anyway, I think I know time has caught up with us, but this has been a very beautiful, great show, and especially the call that came from Honorable Kobwe. But time will tell. We're gonna go and meet our president tomorrow and let the world know. We want to send a message internationally that this president is who the people want.
So we urge you to turn out in your numbers on tomorrow at the Roberts International Airport. We understand the president is going to be coming in the morning hours, anytime between the morning to 12 noon. So you can come out in your numbers. The folks from Magidi are already beginning to plan. The folks from Monserrato, Grand Bassa County, they're beginning to gather. Discuss where they're going to gather and what have you to go and welcome His Excellency the President. This is going to be a festivity at the Roberts International Airport, so you can come out in your numbers to go there. But also want to thank Joseph Kobwe. He said, Joseph Kobwe, that is, that Norfolk County is not going to be the same, and we believe that. We know that for a fact. Same as Nimba. That's why we're beginning to hear the professed godfather of Nimba County beginning to cry wolf, because he's even struggling for his own seat. So what is all the time we have for today's edition of the show? My name is Borkai M. Fofana. I was here along with Daniel Nooks Thomas. Daniel is the Assistant Minister for Information Services at the Ministry of Information. We also were honored to have a guest host, Michael Gilman. Michael Gilman is the presenter of Jita Talk. Our colleague Jura Sano calls him the lone soldier. But Gilman is going to be here for quite some time. You're going to see him come from time to time on our platform to just chat about current affairs in the country. And as always, we had Kwame Nopa Weeks. He is the Director General